In these accounts, the distinction between life, death, and time itself proves to be profoundly malleable. Welcome to the Charon Files. The stories you are about to hear are testimonies from living witnesses of what moves beyond understanding, of what refuses to be explained. Each of them stood at the edge of what is known and looked into what lies beyond it. My name is Charon, Ferryman of the Dead, the one who waits at that edge. What follows is what they brought back. May they prepare you for your own future encounters. My collection holds many accounts of the human experience, moments when the veil thins and the familiar contours of existence ripple. Often, these instances manifest as subtle distortions, fleeting glimpses of what lies just beyond the edges of the known. But sometimes, the fabric unravels more profoundly, revealing a deeper, more unsettling truth. We begin to discern a pattern, a persistent echo, a recurring temporal incongruity that suggests these are not isolated events. The ground beneath our feet, the passage of our days, they are not as solid or as linear as we perceive. Tonight, we witness testimonies where the very sequence of events, the very nature of identity, and the boundaries between life and what lies beyond are not merely blurred, they are entirely remade. A pervasive, subtle undercurrent, indeed. Gary, Indiana Elkton, Maryland, found himself caught in a loop of personal reality when an event he had just experienced seemed to reset, calling him to live it again.
This actually happened last week. It just took me some time to come to terms with it. I got a phone call from my next-door neighbor late in the evening asking if I can help him move a mattress into his upstairs. His mom is ill and has a big, heavy sleep number bed. I, of course, ran over to help because they are great neighbors. I get over there and his friend, who was also a priest, was there to help. I helped them figure out how to separate the mattress from the bed so we could fit it upstairs. We get it all moved up and back in place when my neighbor asks if I can help them move an armoire upstairs too. I think nothing of it, and we pull it out of his travel trailer and start bringing it up the front stairs of his house. This is where I died. The front stairs are 11 steps. I was on the lower end of the armoire about 6 steps up when my neighbor and his friend lose a handle on the armoire and it comes crashing down on me and I fall backwards towards the pavement. I then wake up in my dining room to my phone ringing and my wife asking me if I am going to answer the phone. It is my neighbor asking me if I can help move a bed upstairs for his mom. I go over there and meet his priest friend again, as this has been the first time I met him. I say I can help with the bed, but I cannot help with the armoire. My neighbor was like, "How did you know about the armoire?" I then proceeded to tell them I am pretty sure I just died. I spent the next hour talking with the priest. He had so many questions. My neighbor did not believe it until I described the upstairs bedroom in perfect detail, down to the metal mattress frame on the floor and the intricate headboard leaning against the wall, and I had never been upstairs in their house before. The priest asked me what I saw after I died. I told him I never actually died. Before it happened, I woke up at my dining room table.
From Arden Hills, Minnesota, found detachment, where her connection to the physical world dissolved, revealing a place she felt was the true reality.
This happened 14 years ago, and it was pretty opaque at the time also. When I was in my early 20s, I attempted suicide by ligature. Apart from that, I was living with 2 friends. I know I was only unresponsive, but it was only for 4 or 5 minutes. And I remember it started with me being able to hear what was happening around me, my friends coming in and panicking, saying they're going to call an ambulance and so on. But I wasn't seeing anything yet or physically feeling anything, but I remember being aware that one of my friends was trying to move me and sit me up. Like I just somehow knew that was happening. And then my connection to my body of the physical world was gone, and that's where the opaqueness begins. The rest is very much based on the feelings I remember experiencing. Nothing was very tangible, maybe because I was raised atheist and didn't have a spiritual or religious reference point. I do consider myself pretty spiritual now, though. I remember being in a completely different world and knowing that I wasn't really me, or at least not the person or identity I had spent the last 18 years as. And I remember feeling loved by everyone or thing there, and completely at home. There was something familiar about everything. And I remember feeling or knowing that that place was the real world, like the world we live in is the dream. And being there was as if waking up. Then when I came to, after spending what felt like weeks, maybe months there, it felt like I was going back into the dream, and it took about at least a minute to recognize my friends again, who were standing over me saying my name that I didn't recognize as my own at first. It's like the information about my real life was re-downloading or something. But that's all I remember. Just to say that I know I didn't choose to come back. I didn't even get a warning, unless you count suddenly becoming aware of my friends' voices, which also seemed so foreign to me initially.
Multiple resuscitations led Dean, in Wheeling, West Virginia, to commune with those long departed, some of whom he had never met.
1 year ago today, I died more than once. I had what's called a widowmaker heart attack at work. I went into cardiac arrest, was resuscitated, lost again, and brought back multiple times before being placed into a medically induced coma. I spent 9 days in the hospital, and only remember the last couple with any clarity. By any reasonable measure, I shouldn't be here. I am because a safety officer on duty, a former Air Force flight medic, performed CPR on me alone for 7 minutes until help arrived. Because paramedics and hospital staff kept bringing me back. Because machines did work my heart couldn't do on its own. That's the medical part. What I don't remember are the things people often expect when they hear NDE. No tunnel, no panoramic life review, no narrated message about the universe. What I do carry with me is something harder to put into words. When I came out of the coma, before I fully understood where I was, I said with complete certainty that I was going to be okay. When asked how I knew, I said it was because my great-grandmother had told me so. She died when I was in my early 20s. Later I told my mother that I had also spoken with my older brother, the one who died less than a day after birth, years before I was born. I didn't experience him as a baby. I experienced him as a grown man, strong, familiar, proud. I don't remember the content of any conversation. What I remember is what it left behind. A feeling that still overwhelms me when I think about him. Love, yes, but also recognition, approval, the sense of being known without explanation. That's what stayed. I wasn't a faithful churchgoer before this, and I'm still not. Christianity has always been my faith, but more as inheritance and orientation than constant practice. I'm also aware that if I'd been born somewhere else in the world, the language I use to describe this might be Hindu, Muslim, or Buddhist. I don't claim universality. I can only speak from the framework I had. Through that lens, what I encountered wasn't judgment, sorting, or moral accounting. It was love, overwhelming and somehow restrained, as if too much at once would have been unbearable. I still live with mental illness. Doubt didn't disappear. Life didn't become easy. But fear lost its grip, because I no longer believe that brokenness of mind or body is something God mistakes for rebellion. A year later, I don't feel chosen or special. I feel spared. I'm grateful to still be here. Grateful for my wife, my family, and the people who refuse to quit on me. And grateful for the clarity that remains, quiet and steady, long after the event itself. God bless you all.
These testimonies reveal that the boundaries of existence are more porous than we imagine, a constant, subtle flux where moments can repeat, and the departed may speak. The names of the witnesses have been changed to maintain anonymity. If what you have heard tonight mirrors something you have experienced, leave your story in a comment below, and we will include it in a future episode. Don't forget to subscribe. You wouldn't want to miss